I'm high above the city. I'm standing on the ledge. The view from here is pretty as I step off the edge. And now I'm falling, baby, through the sky, I'm falling, baby, through the sky. It's my calling, baby, don't you cry, I'm falling down through the sky, toward the street that I'm from. Oh, Broadway, here I come. Broadway, here I come. The pressure, it increases the closer that I get. I can almost fall to pieces, but I'm not quite there yet. See, I've been braving crazy weather. I've been drowning out my cries. I pull myself together and I'm focused on the prize. I'm falling, baby, through the sky, I'm falling, baby, through the sky. It's my calling, baby, don't you cry, I'm falling down through the sky, and it's a tune you can hum. Oh, Broadway, here I come. Will I remain the same, or will I change a little bit? Will I feel broken or totally complete? Will I retain my name when I'm the biggest, hugest hit? Or will I blend in with the rest of the street? The people all are pointing. I bet they never guess that the saint that they're anointing is frightened of the mess. And even though I fear it, I'm playing all my cards. Baby, you are gonna hear it when I give them my regards. I'm falling, baby, through the sky, I'm falling, baby, through the sky. It's my calling, baby, don't you cry, I'm falling down through the sky, and I refuse to go numb. Oh, Broadway, here I come. Broadway, here I come. Broadway, here I come. Broadway, Broadway, here I come. Here I come. And the last thing I hear as the impact grows near, is it a scream or a cheer? Well, never mind, I'll never find out, 'cause Broadway, I am here.
¿Cómo está Detroit? Dani S. Astagnando, sazón.
Así tú quieres reggaetón, yo te doy mi sazón. Con la mano arriba y a mover el bombón. Si quieres reggaetón, yo te doy mi sazón. Vamos pa' la pista y a mover el bombón. Yeah, ahí, ahí, gózalo, gózalo. Ahí, ahí, gózalo, gózalo. Ahí, ahí, gózalo, gózalo. Ahí, ahí, gózalo. A esa nenita inquieta, con ella que nadie se meta. No he venado, pero enciende mi copeta. Sí, el trago la tiene coqueta. No tiene gym, pero tiene booty de atleta. Ay, ay, gózalo, gózalo. Ay, ay, gózalo, gózalo. Ay, ay, gózalo, gózalo. Ay, ay, gózalo. Así tú quieres reggaetón, yo te doy mi sazón. Con la mano arriba y a mover el bombón. Si quieres reggaetón, yo te doy mi sazón. Vamos pa' la pista y a mover el bombón.
Con permiso, ya llegó el don. Tú sabes, mamacita, que yo quiero bombón. Vamos pa' la casa y te quito el calzón. Te quiero ver con nada y con mucho sudor. Ahora dime where you from. Yo represento el barrio y lo hago con honor. I'm just popping bottles and I'm chipping on the cone. Call me fully out cause I'm spitting up the dome. And if you with that drama, then you can stay at home. Tal vez te hablo mañana pa' que te dé más banana. Take it out like a pala, make you bang like a pala. Slap that thing like it's masa, they kick you out of my casa. Ahí viene mi baby mama, you know I love when they're beautiful. Pretty and painted clothes, know how to use it so. Roaches and any clothes like the jams of the radio. Up in the patio, on the pipe like she Mario. Oh yeah girl, here we go. Okay, vámonos, you want it, I want it more. Pulling in some foreign, blowing but listen up. Getting up in the morning, eating my cereal. Si vas a querer su son, don't play with my corazón. Cause I'm not with that nonsense, te toco you will jump on my mind like I'm Cupid. And the wire like a boot clipping, and I like I'm ruthless. Spin you down like a goose. Take you tap, you're not used to this. Call me power when I lose my kids. Dale mueve el bombón, yeah. Dale mueve el bombón.
Ay, ay,
Dale mueve el bombón.
gózalo. Ay, ay,
Dale mueve el
gózalo,
bombón.
gózalo. Ay, ay,
Dale mueve el bombón.
ay, ay.
Dale mueve el bombón.
Si tú quieres reggaetón, yo te doy mi sazón. Con la mano arriba y a mover el bombón. Si quieres reggaetón, yo te doy mi sazón. Vamos pa' la pista y a mover el bombón, yeah.
Muchas gracias, Detroit. PBS.
Thank you.
Detroit Performance.
Yeah.
Danny S. Aztec Nando. We love you. Una familia.
Yeah.
Welcome back, and we are with Danny S. And thank you for being here, Danny S., and for being on Detroit Performs and bringing your special brand of funk and reggaeton and all the influences that it is.
Thank
Where
you.
does the music originate?
Puerto Rico. Reggaeton originates from Puerto Rico. Of course, it has reggae influences, reggae roots as well, which of course is from Jamaica. But yeah, Puerto Rico just took it global, really.
And how has Detroit shaped your special feeling for reggaeton and your expression? How has Detroit influenced that, and what's the cross-cultural exchange? And
You know, it's funny you asked that because I actually began playing rock music. So I always, when it comes to music, I always thought about combining styles and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Being in Detroit, having a lot of diversity, you know, a lot of rappers, really great rappers like Aztec, that really made me think about the possibilities where I can take reggaeton to. That's why my song, Sazon, which actually translates to seasoning.
translates to what?
Seasoning, whatever you put to your salad. or whatever.
Yeah, spicy.
Yeah, spice, exactly, spice. So that's why I wanted to mix up a little bit of hip hop, you know, which is obviously American, and I love, you know, and reggaeton, of course, which is something that I begin to love.
And what is the song about?
See, it's a party song, so there's no specific topic to it. But to me, what it's about to me, right? Sazon. What I want to say with that, sazon means seasoning, right? That's kind of like my spice. What I bring to the table when it comes to music, that's my essence, my seasoning, my flavor, my spice. You know what I mean? So that's what it meant to me. A mix of not just lyrically speaking is really a lot about just having fun, partying, really. You know, and there's no depth to the lyrics, but there's a lot of depth to the music.
Exactly.
There's a lot of depth to the music, the sound, you know? Like you heard reggaeton and hip hop, and then came back to reggaeton. It blended so well, went up, down. It was like a roller coaster, and I love it. I think people love it too.
And what are some of the other flavors of your music?
Personally, I like love songs, a little sad songs. You know, I like to reference, because I songwrite a lot, so a lot about my life, about mistakes I made. So, you know, I'm trying to, I try to get influence from my life, so the listener can feel it even more and perhaps relate it to their life.
Thank you, Danny S. Thank you,
nada.
Nando. And thank you for being here and watching Detroit Performs live in Marygrove.
Gracias.
I am a Detroit police homicide detective. It's 2019. I'm in Des Plaines, Illinois, attending a conference on force science. Force science is the study of what happens to all of us when we are involved in life-threatening situations. When we are in life-threatening situations, we focus on the one thing that will kill us. Our minds won't allow us to see anything else. Imagine being at the bus stop where you are robbed at gunpoint. When the police arrive, they ask you to describe the gunman, but you are only able to describe the gun. The purpose of this training is to help me better investigate cases where police shoot at civilians and civilians shoot at the police. Stress affects how and why we remember things, but I'm curious to see how this training will help me become a better investigator. It's the first day of class. I'm anxious. My chest is tight. I walk into a large classroom and I see a sea of white faces who pause their conversations to stare back at me. I feel unwelcome. I search the space for a face like mine. She smiles and offers my partner and me seats nearest her. A short white man walks into the room. All side conversations stop. Everyone takes their seats. He is the psychologist leading the conference. He welcomes us and mocks the execution of Eric Garner at the hands of NYPD, all in the same breath. Most of the class laughs, but I'm afraid, thinking, did he just say that? This guy also goes on to say that he testifies as an expert on behalf of police who injure or kill civilians. I'm beginning to feel naked and unprotected. Next, our first instructor shows video of police shooting civilians and civilians shooting the police. In most of the videos, the civilians are brown or black, like me. I'm furious. My colleague says, "You're overreacting." On the first break, I rush to the front of the classroom and I ask the instructor, "Why are you presenting this material in such a biased way?" He responds, "I'm not a racist." I'm thinking, I didn't say you're a racist. He continues, "This is the best video we have available." I counter, some of this video is 10 years old. With body-worn cameras and surveillance footage, new content is being created every day to support your teaching. I return to my seat more furious than before. Next, we are shown a reenactment of an American citizen in Ireland who gets into a shootout with the police. And the part of the American citizen is played by a black man. Ah, I get it now. You want us to be afraid of people who look like me. This is dangerous. Throughout the conference, we are encouraged to ask questions. And one by one, white hands go up around the room like popcorn hitting the lid. The instructors have no problem answering their non-confrontational questions, so I figure why not? I raise my hand. And it stays there until it gets tired and heavy. And finally, the instructor calls on me and I ask, "Why are you contradicting material that we've already been presented?" I'm thinking this training is BS. And as he begins to shout me down, I feel like what he's actually saying is, you black people better not ask any more questions. On Wednesday night, my black and white colleagues and I are sitting in the hotel dining room, studying for the upcoming exam. When the psychologist walks over with a smile on his face, he says, "I hope you're studying really hard. Tomorrow, we're going to go over the Malice Green case." Malice Green was a black man who was beaten to death with a flashlight by Detroit police officers in 1992. My colleague says, "I knew Malice and his family. I can't wait to see what you present." The next morning, a large white woman is at the podium. She is supposed to present the Malice Green case, but she does not. Her laptop is open, and I can see the Eric Garner thumbnail on her screen. She looks in my direction and says, "We are going to have to skip that one." When I left that place, I was terrified. When I got home, I met with Chief Craig. I told him of my experience. He asked me if I was willing to write it down, and I did. An investigation was opened, and the outcome of that investigation is that no other Detroit police officer will attend this training. They were supposed to be using science to teach us to be better investigators. Instead, I learned why I should be more afraid of the police. But I am the police, so why was I still afraid? I managed to counter that fear, and in 2020, my colleagues and I created a nonprofit called Capturing Belief. We use visual literacy and photography to teach children to tell their stories, because we believe that no one should be able to tell your story better than you. Thank you.
We've just come from listening to Kyrie Mason's powerful story, and it's our pleasure to have Kyrie right here. Thank you so much for that story.
Thank you for having me, Satori.
I just want to know, what is it like to defy what we call the masculine male, especially as a police officer?
I was actually given, the way that I worked my career, a healthy fear of people that look like me, and I didn't think that could happen. And so when I went to this training, I knew exactly what was going on. He was using the classroom to reinforce or instill a fear that may not have existed before stepping foot in there. And I saw how dangerous that was. And I thought about everybody that looked like me, right? I've arrested thousands of people. They all look like me. It's heavy, right? The beginning of my career, I was not an empath, but by the time I left, I was very empathetic towards others. Because I'd come to the realization that we had been locking up people from the same families, from the same houses, from the same neighborhoods, decade after decade. Nothing was changing. Nothing got any better for anybody that looked like me. And if I'm supposed to be making society safer, it wasn't happening. And I knew that I had to approach children in the beginning of their lives before they made mistakes that caused them to collide with law enforcement and meet them with resources. I believe that's what law enforcement is. I believe that's what it can change into, so that it finally meets its mission of making society safer for everybody.
And what is your message, what you want the viewers to be left with?
When nobody in the room is doing the right thing, and you know what the right thing is to do, it's up to you to do it. You have to say something.
Thank you very much, Kyrie Mason.
Thank you.
You have privileged us with your presence, with your honesty, your vulnerability, your empathy, and your story.
Thank you.